Alright, so this is day 2 of working on the GT86 and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caxton and this is part 2 of rebuilding the crash damaged GT86. If you haven't seen part 1, that's where the whole repair journey began, right from home before the car panel drove out to the garage. In this video, we're picking up from there. We're going to get the car repaired to the very end, go through what it took to bring it back to life, and also break down how much it actually cost to get the car back on the road. So yeah, stick around because this one gets interesting. Now, the car had already made it to the garage earlier that morning, and by the time I showed up, the guys were already deep into work. They started aligning the panel gaps, just making sure everything sits perfectly. Remember, the bonnet and the fender had already been replaced. So, at this point, it was all about fine-tuning how those panels meet. One of the main jobs for the day was fixing that bent shock tower. We may have missed a bit of footage here, but the guys used a body jack to push the metal back out and then welded it cleanly back in place. You can actually see some clips of them raising up the brackets and straightening out that section. Just some proper garage action. The broken AC line was also welded back together, and later on we reinstalled it into the car. You can see it now, running nicely across the bay. Everything worked fine again. After that, the focus shifted to panel beating. The car had a few dents from before the crash, so while it was still here, we decided to sort those out too. The main dents that needed fixing were two. One on the rear left side of the car, right next to the wheel at the very bottom, around the skid area, and the other was on the boot. The one at the bottom was actually quite a big dent, while the one on the boot was just a small one, but both had to be sorted out to keep the car clean. And the way to deal with those kind of dents is usually using a light application of filler, just enough to smooth out the surface without going heavy. Before applying the filler, the guys had to sand down all the areas that needed work, just to make sure the surface was clean and ready. You can actually see them going over the panels, scrubbing and leveling everything out. That's the process that prepares the metal for filler application. So that's exactly what we did. The rear left section of the boot and both fenders got a light touch of filler. The right fender had just come from panel beating, while the new bonnet and the new left fender had small imperfections that needed a bit of straightening out too. Basically, this step was all about cleaning up the body, covering every dent and making sure the surface was perfectly even before the paint prep. That's one thing I like about working here. We actually get the freedom to follow up, see everything happen and make sure it's done right. And with that, that was it for day 2. Huh? Alright, so we're now entering day 3 of working on the GT86, and at this stage it's all about preparation. Basically, this is the point where the car is being prepared for paint. This stage is called the preparation stage, and what happens here is all about getting the body perfectly ready before any color goes on. The team focuses on creating smooth and clean surfaces so that the final paint job can really come out sharp. Now, while at it, we also inspect the body for any visible rough spots, small burns or dents that might still be showing through from early stages. Basically, we're looking for any kind of imperfection that could mess up the final finish. And actually, there was one, a dent on the rear left side of the car. It hadn't been fully worked on before, so it still looked kind of rough. So at this stage, we went back to it, sanded it down, smoothened it out, and applied a little bit of filler just to make sure everything looked neat before moving forward. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, do me a quick favor, hit that like button. When you like the video, it actually tells YouTube that people are enjoying it, and that helps it get suggested to even more people who like this type of content. So yeah, just tap that like button, it really helps a lot. A small detail you might notice on the fenders of the GT86 are these stickers. That's actually an emblem symbolizing the car's boxer engine. A small but cool feature that represents what the GT86 truly stands for. After priming, the next step is to get the car covered up, masking all the areas that shouldn't be painted, like the windows, trims, and handles, and leaving exposed only the parts that are going to receive paint. Now, after masking everything up, we get ready for the undercoat. In this particular case, almost the entire car was being painted, everything except the doors and the roof. The main challenge here was going to be blending the new color with the existing one, just to make sure it matches perfectly. But you'll have to wait until the end of the video to see how it turns out. So the car gets undercoated, and once that's done, we go over it with the 600 grit sandpaper just to make sure the surface remains perfectly smooth and clean. At this stage, it's all about the car hygiene, keeping those surfaces spotless. Immediately after that, we roll it into the paint booth. Here, we've got all the products lined up and ready to go. A couple of different mixes will be used for the next stage. So these are the products that are going to be used for painting. We've got the clear coat, the hardener, the slow thinner, the base coat, and finally the top coat. All these are what go into painting the GT86, as you'll see in the next section of this video when the car finally gets its color. Vincent then begins painting the car, laying down the first coat.
Niko na funguo ya gari. Niko na funguo. Siko na mimi niko nayo.
And this is where you can actually see the car changing color. At first, it had that kind of yellowish, almost creamy white base. Then, as he starts applying the clear coat, you can actually see the pearl effect come to life. It's one of those satisfying moments where the car finally starts looking alive again. The paint job turned out nicely, but as always, there were a few issues here and there. Some were avoidable, some maybe not. The first issue was on one of the fins near the fender. The clear coat reacted slightly, and if you look closely at the reflection, it's not completely even. The second one was on the bonnet. It didn't turn out as smoothly as I'd have liked, probably because it wasn't perfectly straight to begin with. Then there's this boot area. The dent was cleared, yes, but not as smoothly as it could have been. Still, it's acceptable. Now, the biggest issue for me was the color mismatch. If you look closely, especially on camera, you can see that the door and the quarter panel don't exactly match. The door has a slightly pale tone, while the quarter panel is more of a milk white. In real life, it's subtle, but on camera, you can definitely see it. That one stung a bit, but overall, I'd give the paint job maybe a 7.5 out of 10. It's clean, it's decent, but those few serious mistakes really hold it back from perfection. As promised earlier, we are going to do a quick price breakdown of how much it costs to repair the crash damaged GT86 to where it is right now. So yeah, this is how it goes. We began by buying the parts, the bonnet and the fender. The bonnet went for about 65,000 shillings, while the fender went for about 25,000. Then came the labor, which also included the materials. Since we did not separate the two, altogether that came to about 46,000 shillings. So in total, this whole repair cost roughly 136,000 shillings. That's what it took to bring this GT86 back to life. And if you made this far into the video, you are honestly part of that 10% who all stick around to the very end. And I appreciate you for that. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, drop a comment and share it with someone who would enjoy seeing this build come together. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button and tell me what you think about the GT86 rebuild down in the comments. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.